just something to do in the day, isn't it? Other than get pissed. Whew. Action. Hey YouTube, it's your homegirl Linamar. Yeah, I'm still doing that. A little bit late, but as promised, I've got another video for you and it is a Q&A. And today, I'm also going to try and attempt to do my makeup in something different. I've been sent a bunch of products that I haven't tried out, so I thought I would use them in this video. It might be a long one. Also, it might look really terrible because I am not very good with makeup, but I just wanted to test these out and do something fun whilst answering these questions. So I went on Instagram and asked you guys to ask me anything about South Asian culture and what you might like to know. I just thought it's a good way to open up these conversations. I want this channel to be like a safe space where everyone is welcome, no matter what age, size, color, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, whatever you identify as. It's just a safe space for us to communicate, educate each other, learn and grow. So I'm sorry if anything offends anyone, that is not my intention, but let's go ahead with the video. It's getting dark and we're using natural light, so we're just gonna have to go with it. I'll zoom you in for the makeup. I've got nothing on my base, like skin, but I do have a little bit of blush, mascara and freckles that I've drawn on, and we're just gonna roll with it. We're not gonna take it off, we're just gonna do it. So I've seen a picture on Instagram that I kind of want to recreate. I do not acquire the set of skills to do this kind of witchcraft wizardry. We're gonna attempt to do it, and if it looks bad, we'll just have a giggle, right? We'll just have a giggle. I'm gonna start with the liner first. How should I do that? I'm gonna do the outer corner. Yeah, no, that is not the shape. Let's see if I can wing it. Right, I'll start with the dad jokes. First question. Do you feel those who try to make things more inclusive can end up separating us more? I hope not, because that's a little bit sad to think that. I don't know how else to answer that. If by saying trying to make things more inclusive, for example, right now I'm talking about the South Asian community, it may seem like I'm excluding all the other cultures in this conversation, but no, that's not my intent. What I'm trying to do with this video, again, is just to open up conversations. Everyone's welcome. I can only speak about certain topics through my personal experiences, so that's why I'm relating it to my culture. But yeah, I can see what you mean. I hope I haven't misinterpreted the question, and I hope that even makes sense, but yeah. Let's try and get this other side looking like that. Next question. So I was lucky enough to grow up with you, but would love a deeper insight into how you felt wearing Indian clothes to birthday parties and how it must have felt like being surrounded by white kids in basic outfits. Just quoting, she's also white, by the way. Was it difficult trying to fit in at such a young age? And at what age did you become aware that you wanted to fit in? Growing up, my mum used to dress me in like the most extravagant like Indian saris. If like one of my friends had like a birthday party or any kind of like function. Growing up, I hated it because I just wanted to fit in. I was also a kid, so I just wanted to go to the party and see my friends and play. So I didn't care once I was there and having a good time. And also because she dressed me, I think that's why I took quite an interest in fashion, and I wouldn't say I was like rebellious, but I thought I don't want to look like all the other Indian girls. Now that sounds like I don't like my culture, but growing up it was difficult, and like I said, I just wanted to fit in with all the other kids and I didn't, but now I love it. I was also raised in this country, in the UK, so I'm also influenced by my peers and the things I see around me. As I'm getting older now, I like embracing little things from my culture. So I'm gonna actually add some Indian earrings at the end to this. At what age did you become aware that you wanted to fit in? I never really fitted in, to be honest. Even in primary school, I went to a predominantly ethnic minority and quite a lot of Indians, but I didn't really fit in because there's such a big segregation amongst the South Asian community and the caste system as well, which is quite similar, I would say, to like social class here in the UK. And I didn't really, my mum didn't really teach me a lot of it, to be honest. And it was very common practice to go into school and the other kids would ask you, what caste are you from? And it's probably because their parents told them to ask, because then South Asian people are nosy. My mum never taught me all of that because she just said it never really mattered. I remember going home and asking her, so-and-so at school was asking what caste we are, and she was just like, it doesn't, like, why does it matter? Probably because we're a lower caste. I still don't know to this day. Like, I still don't understand it. I don't know. I should educate myself more on these things, but I'm glad that it wasn't a thought and didn't hinder the opportunities that I could have had, etc. I hope that makes sense. Have you faced discriminations from other South Asians? Yeah, so as I briefly mentioned, I would say that there is a divide amongst, what is this picture that I'm trying to do? The South Asian community. There's a lot of religions within India as well, and so many languages. But also you face a lot of discrimination amongst your own family members. So growing up, I loved like experimenting with my hair and dyeing it like bright pink and blue and things like that. And I remember family members just would say to my mum, oh, she looks too Western, or look, just stupid things. And that just made me more angry and want to do it even more. When it came to things like that I couldn't understand why I was told, no, I can't do it, I would rebel. I hope this is coherent, because I'm gonna have to bloody well edit this as well. I'm just making it up and it's not going as I had planned. Are there any current or past trends that Western society has adopted from other? They took a trip to India and that one time they're automatically cultured. Whew, I feel like someone's venting there. That wasn't me, that was someone else just saying what they needed to. As a kid, I used to get really excited when I saw anyone who wasn't within my culture rocking Indian attire, or like a bindi or jewelry or anything like that. Like if they took an interest in the food, the cuisine, or I found it quite a compliment. I didn't know what cultural appropriation was back then when I was a kid. It's only as I grew older and social media kind of pointed these things out to me. But once I grew older and I started to notice things, and it did annoy me a little bit, because it was just like, well, I used to get teased and bullied for certain things, and now it's a trend, especially the whole the clean girl aesthetic, flicking oil in your hair, gold jewelry. That was seen as like chavvy and trashy. But amongst like South Asian cultures, gold is like seen as inheritance. I'll leave an article actually that I saw recently about gold and South Asian women. It was really, really interesting, so I'll leave it either here or in the description somewhere. Check it out if you're interested. Things like that did annoy me, but as I'm getting older now, it's not that I don't care about these things, of course I do, but I try not to let it faze me too much, because I don't know, I'd be too angry. I'd be too angry. So I kind of take it with a bit of tongue in cheek and try and approach life with a bit of humor. How did you find role models growing up despite the lack of South Asian representation? Honestly, movie characters. There was so many movies I watched that had like strong female like main characters in it. I think I've done a video many years ago. Again, I'll leave all the links in the description. Some of my like top 5 movies with female characters. So yeah, movies. Also, as cliche as it sounds, my mum and my nan were quite the inspiration. I guess I didn't realise how strong they were until like much older, realising leaving their family behind and coming here, not knowing the language or anything. But I understand they were also victims of their own culture, where they're told you need to get married and live for a man, and your whole life is surrounded by like your husband and cooking for him and all of this bullshit. So at what age did you move to England? I was 2 years old. How did you experience it? Well, I was 2, so I don't really remember anything, but obviously I can remember other experiences growing up. But yeah, I don't remember the actual move to England. Sorry. Do you have friends you can speak your native language with, and how hard is it to have relatives that live far? I actually don't have any friends I can speak my native language with. I don't have friends, period. So yeah, maybe I should do a tutorial in Gujarati or something. But yeah, I speak my native language when I go home to my mother. I never want to lose that. I never ever want to lose that. Oh, I didn't think about how I'm going to get the other side to match this. Oh, there's a reason I don't do like makeup tutorials and beauty. This is a disaster. But we're having fun. Well, I am. It's just something to do in the day, isn't it? Other than get pissed. I can imagine you have feelings about the history between your native country and the one you live in. How often does discrimination, racism happen? And what changes would you wish for? Yes, obviously there is like a deep-rooted history with Britain colonizing India, etc. But like growing up, the history lessons here in the UK, you don't actually learn too much about it. You don't learn like the Indian side, the viewpoint of history. I had a bit of a turbulent childhood. Like my mum and dad had their fair share of problems. No disrespect to them, they did their best. But so my mum couldn't always like sit me down and educate me on things. And there are times where I've got angry at her and been like, why didn't you teach me this? Why don't I know this? I should know it. You should have taught me. And honestly, like she didn't have the best sacrificed education growing up. She had to like take care of all her siblings, and she was the eldest, so she had a hard life as well. With social media, TV, movies, cinemas, and also like me and my mum now like have a lot of conversations that we didn't have before. I'm learning so much. Every day I'm still learning. How often does discrimination and racism happen? I don't know. I don't have a statistic for that, so I can't really answer that. Like I said, I've dealt with my fair share. I'm sure anyone that's of colour has, so it happens, unfortunately. It still happens to this day. And what changes would you wish for? So obviously I would love for racism to not exist. Because I've faced it a lot growing up, I've come up with like coping mechanisms for it. So if I come across a racist person and their viewpoints now, I honestly just find it hilarious. Like I can't even fight back because I just find it so stupid. Like I'm laughing at their stupidity and their ignorance at this point. So this is how I look at racism. I hope this can help someone, because I've been through the angry stage, and it doesn't mean like I don't feel any anger or passion about it. Of course I do. And I still get angry about certain things now. But I have to take a step back, and this is what I tell myself. At the end of the day, if a racist person is offended by the colour of your skin, which is something you can't change, this is how I was born, the only resolution to that conflict is the racist person is going to have to change their mindset. And if they don't do that, then they're going to just carry on being angry and miserable. I'm going to carry on being the same colour I am and live my life and be happy. You can carry on being angry and miserable. It doesn't affect me. Like, I don't care. Well, it does affect me, especially when there's people in power who are racist. It affects everyone. So there's so many topics, and it's quite broad. You can't really just answer it in one video. But I hope we can get some interesting conversations going in the comments. So what are some of your favourite traditions or anything coming from your culture? The food. Yeah, the food. Sorry, I got me thinking about my mum's food. I haven't even done this side of the bloody eye. There's no way I can do this and make it look the same on the other eye. This is not looking the same, but we're just gonna roll with it. Halloween's over. What the hell am I doing? This is really difficult. I don't know how these makeup girls do all these liners. And they do it like in under like 15 seconds on Instagram Reels and TikTok. I don't understand. And they make it look easy. It's all a lie. Everything is a lie. The world is a lie. I look like, is it Kiss? Can't be looking like this. We'll shove some glitter on it, I don't know. There's so many topics that could be covered. I hope I wasn't clumsy in any questions. No, you weren't. And yes, there's so many topics, and I hope I'm doing some kind of justice in answering them and with this video. How do you feel about being an influencer and being vocal about politics, race, etc.? Just because I can imagine the trolls, racist, bigots, etc. attack viciously, and even some brands may look unfavorably to those who speak out about certain things. There seems to be unwritten rules, like you can speak about Ukraine but not about police brutality. Okay, there is a lot of pressure as an influencer to like speak out on a lot of topics, and honestly, good to educate your audience, etc., because we have a platform. But I don't understand when influencers became newsreaders. Why would you get your source of information from me, like about political affairs? Like I said, I'm only speaking about experiences, like personal experiences that have happened to me, maybe certain opinions and viewpoints, but you can't get like facts from political facts. From me, I wouldn't know. But yeah, I think it is important to speak up on certain topics, but also if I'm not fully educated or knowledgeable in that field, then I also don't want to come out on such a big platform and give people false news and false advice, etc. So that's another danger as well. And in terms of brands as well, I feel like I am quite vocal, especially on my social media on Instagram, and I haven't really grown. And I don't get as many brand deals as some other people. I'm not trying to complain, but maybe, I don't know what, maybe I'm just crap at content, I don't know. Yeah, I hope that answers it. And do you struggle with mental illness? I wonder if stunning people like you also do. This is a disaster. This is the last question, and this is what I'm ending it with. No. I said I was gonna put some Indian jewelry with this and make it look cool. I feel like I would be dishonoring the Indian jewelry by putting it with this monstrosity that I've created. Thank you for the compliment, but I don't think looks have anything to do with mental health. But anyone can go through mental health. I do suffer from a lot of it, and I've spoken about certain issues, not a lot, because you know I share a lot of my life as it is, and sometimes I like to process things before I just blurt things out and blurt out my feelings. And I'm gonna finish this off camera and come back and see what we have, okay? Right. And that's the finished look. Kind of got really carried away. Got to go and walk Pepper in a bit. I don't know how I'm going to get this off, but I think I might have fun and have a little photo shoot. This was really fun. I miss playing around with makeup, but it was just fun to play around, and there's no rules and you can make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. It was really fun, and I hope this video was, but I've got lipstick in my teeth. I hope this video was enjoyable or somewhat useful. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you next time. Peace. I want to go out.